Thought so. Little break about this. I thought Poe and Finn were going to be the leads in the new Star Wars trilogy. I thought they had a really cool dynamic and they had a really cool story going on. Like Finn having that whole conflict of being the former stormtrooper. Like the former stormtrooper turned a Jedi was such a cool proposition. And they just threw it all away. Poe being the like I saw him as being like the new Han Solo. Like he could have been the new Han Solo, the really good pilot. He's extremely good at what he does, but oh my god, he's cocky. And he needs to be humbled. That kind of storyline. Have those two together? That would have been awesome. I thought Finn was going to be the next Jedi before I saw the actual movie. Same here. I thought so. I think everyone thought so too. The worst part is Rey by far. Yes. They were set up as co-lead with Rey for a really cool thing, but then they sidelined him and did him. Oh yeah, yeah. It's okay for Rey to be the. It was okay for her to be the main character and have the main storyline. I found the idea of the former stormtrooper turned Jedi a far more interesting story than the orphan in the desert planet becoming the savior of the world, saving everyone from the planet destroying machine again. So, Rey was a horrible character. Rey was a horribly written character. Like, she started off pretty okay. I would say she started off well enough because she started like in the Luke Skywalker, and then she gets on the Millennium Falcon. And then you can just see how they completely it was not a story based on the characters. It was a story based on an ideology. To be fair, original trilogy was also an ensemble team movie for the first two. Yeah. Yeah. And unlike the sequel trilogy, they didn't fully fumble it. Like, yes, they did. Like Han in the third in Return of the Jedi, Han's story is kind of, Han is kind of just there because he already had his character arc, and it's kind of just to tie up the other loose ends. So yeah, it's not as good, nowhere near as bad as just the embarrassment that was the Star Wars sequel trilogy. They had a lot of potential. They could have gone so many places. Again, I will say this. Finn, the story of the former stormtrooper turned Jedi, that would have been so cool. Like, I would have had him as the lead and have the other ones be like, okay, they're there kind of. I would have made Rey a side character. Yeah, she could be a Jedi too. Whatever. I wanted Finn to be the main character. His story, like, just imagine all the conflict that he could have had of running into his older friends, to his comrades, having to run into these people, that everything could have been so much better. And they just didn't. All I or anyone who has watched decades wanted just a freaking copy-paste of the extended universe? Yeah. Or that. Or just go into the extended universe, yeah. Rey feels like a Tumblr OC from some 13-year-old on top. Yeah. They completely ignored the moral implications of stormtroopers being real people with doubts. Yeah. The sequels had a lot of potential, yeah, and I think the episode 7 had an okay start. It had a promising start until we get to the Death Star. Sorry. Legally distinct, completely not, totally not the Death Star. Death Star. So, it was completely wasted potential. It was a waste of time. And I have never seen a case of someone failing upwards like Kathleen Kennedy. I think one of the few regrets I think George Lucas would have, because George Lucas wasn't the best either. He made the prequels, it wasn't that good. They made the prequels look like gold. Disney managed to make the prequels look like a brilliant work of art. And it was a good setup, but they did not follow through with anything. Yeah, and it's mainly because Kathleen decided to not go with any plan. They wanted a trilogy. What is the trilogy going to explore? What is it going to do? We don't know. It's going to be a trilogy. That's it. It's a trilogy. We need to make 3 movies. So we bring in, and it started this trend. George Lucas was a good idea man, not a good director. He needed others that would polish his work, which is what you do in Hollywood. You will have someone, you hire writers to bring your idea to life. That is perfectly normal. You hire a director to bring things onward. George Lucas, as a producer, yeah, that's what they did for the original trilogy. Yeah, that's what most movies do. Like most movies, you will have someone with a pitch, with a good idea, with a good 1-page draft of the story, 2-page, 10-page draft of a cool story, and then you get 100 people involved in the writing process, in the different parts, not just the writing process, like production process, that everyone helps bring this vision to reality. And they decided to not do that. I mean, Legends is canon as far as most Star Wars fans are concerned, and Disney is bad fan fiction. Yeah, Disney is a bad fan fiction. Look, there are 3 projects from Disney that I would consider to be legitimately good for Star Wars. The first season of The Mandalorian, The Clone Wars, the 3D animated one, and Rogue One. We might be able to add Andor, but I haven't seen it, so I'm putting that one up in the air as like maybe a 4th, because I haven't seen it. But I've heard really good things about it. Everything else, no. So Disney is at a massive net negative over here. Legends are a couple of pearls in a bucket of shit. Extended Universe had its issues. Nowhere near what Disney... Because the thing is, Disney managed to take Star Wars, a universe that George Lucas had already turned into like a narrowed down story. Like, because of course, you want to narrow down whatever story you have to the characters at hand. But with the prequels and the original trilogy, you always felt how the characters live in the galaxy, that there are millions of worlds out there with different species and different societies that are just not really, that is just out of the scope of the story, but they're there. You can feel that they are there in the world. Sequel trilogy doesn't have that. Sequel trilogy doesn't have that. Everything is kind of samey everywhere. It's just no. By which I mean there's only a couple really good novels and a whole array of bad ones. Most people only remember the good ones. Yeah, selective memory for good stuff, yeah. I started the talk. Yeah, I started rambling, and this is going to take a bit. No, to close this, because it was here. It's a shame what Disney did. I think Finn's story should have been that whole moral gray area, dude. That would have been so cool to explore it. And it would be a very different perspective. Because, you have... Yes, you can have Rey have the grand story with Kylo happening. But that's not the focus here. The focus here is the Stormtrooper turned Jedi. And how he goes through things. So yeah, you can have Rey and Kylo do their thing. And they're having their stuff in the background. That you can still show them in scenes. Kind of like Lord of the Rings style. That you separate the story of Frodo from the story of the Fellowship. And you just focus on Finn. And you give him all those difficult choices, all those difficult times, all those difficult battles that are just not something you can solve with the pull of a trigger. That kind of thing. And yeah, then you have like the action sequences with Kylo and Rey and all that stuff, and they are, big bad versus big good, and then you have Poe and Finn trying to figure out that inner struggle. Like, you could even, I would even bring Poe at one point starts doubting the Resistance. Like, just have that be one of the plot points at one point. Can you imagine that? See, Disney CG was terrific. That is all. Disney used to have really good CGI. And then they got into the slop. Because there was a time when Disney CG was really incredible. Holy shit, like up until like 2018, their CG was state of the art. And then Marvel entered, and then Marvel, Endgame happened. And after that, the shows started, and they spread themselves way too thin. The Club Palpatine getting resurrected for no reason. It's because they didn't have a plan. And Rian Johnson destroyed The Force Awakens. Yeah. I want to say this. I don't think it was a matter of ideology. It was a matter of corporation hiring trendy directors and doing the trendy things without a vision. Rey is a Mary Sue. Mary Sue characters are very much a trend of the feminist ideology. That's kind of where it is right now. I would say it is an ideological thing that ended up manifesting in the worst possible way. Not once do you feel like Rey? No, at the start. In the first, 25 minutes of Force Awakens, you can feel that Rey is a character. After that, Rey is a plot device with a lightsaber. And that's it. She just has the powers that she needs to have in the moment that she needs to have them. She just does. There's no explanation. There's no way of earning it. She just has it. Everyone loves her for no reason. Everyone just does. She's just beloved by everybody. She's just respected and feared by everyone. She's the hero everyone wants for no reason. For no reason. And then as a way of panic, they had to bring back Palpatine and undo the first six movies and the Clone Wars and everything just because they didn't know where else to go. And I am still of the opinion that the culture of toxic positivity that nowadays we call the woke is a driver for this kind of thing. Is a driver for this kind of thing. Because this is, don't forget, yes, Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace, not that great. I would say 7 out of 10 movies. They're not great movies. They're okay. We can't. Force Awakens looked really good. Rise of Last Jedi, 4 out of 10 movie for me. Rise of Skywalker, 3 out of 10. Raping Mary Sue is the effect of the following the trend of spreadsheet that corpos do. No risk, no vision, just look at the spreadsheet. Get a director whose name is popular right now, even if he doesn't make sense for the movie. That is corporate greed, and why is that driven if not by the culture behind it? Don't forget, pink capitalism was the driving force back then. It no longer is. At this point, it no longer is, but it was at one point. Pink capitalism, for those of you who don't know, is when a corporation, when Apple puts on the rainbow flag in Pride Month, but not in Saudi Arabia, but not in China. That is pink capitalism. And I think that was a driving factor for a lot of these things during this time. So, real feels like an Tumblr receive 13-year-old put in the fan fiction? Yeah, 100%. Pink capitalism was the effect of corporate greed, not the cause of it. I think it's a catch-22. Because it is corporations capitalizing on the culture. Because if they didn't think there was going to be money in it, they wouldn't have put it. It's because that was the dominant culture. And it resulted in this becoming a feedback loop. These things don't happen in a vacuum. They all affect one another. And now we are seeing the end of it. By the way, I finally figured out, there was a day where I was still there was this one game that I couldn't fucking remember. There was an entire, franchise, Unknown 9. It's with the actress that plays Yennefer in the Witcher series, which I've just come to realize, whenever I see her in anything, I know not to watch it. because it's going to get ruined one way or another. This game is probably... This game performed worse than Conquered. And they had an entire franchise. They wanted this to be like the new Uncharted, something like that. They had a lot of games planned for this. And the first game... had... Unknown 9. It peaked at 285 players. We will not go there because we will get banned on this platform. What I'm saying is that it's same lead actress is my point. Because I absolutely harbor resentment towards Netflix. And you as a Pole, I imagine that would be a massive understatement. Crazy Nate, welcome to today. How you doing? I didn't bother to start watching anything about the new marathon, and people say it's new Conquered. Yeah, we covered that. We have the videos of that in the YouTube. But yeah, no. It peaked. It couldn't even reach 300 players. And this is major. This is a Bandai Namco game. This is the same publisher that published Elden Ring. Same publisher. They couldn't even get 300 players. So, yeah. Yeah, is it the new Conquered? It might be. It might be. How are you? I'm doing fantastic. We were watching this video, and Star Wars came up, and we went off on a rant about Star Wars. And there was just a while back that I wanted to tell you guys about this game, Unknown 9, because it's a massive failure, and it's another in the list of what we could call the woke slop, to the point that I don't think I'm the only one. Whenever I see this actress, I don't even know her name. Whenever I see her, I know not to bother with the IP. I know not to bother with the project. I see her, and it's not her fault. She's just doing what she does. She's just trying to get a career out of this. I see her face, I click away. And so have most people. The Witcher is a great example. A diehard fan is your lead shouting, no, 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 wait, and they just crashed the program anyways. Yeah. Yeah. And I see as a symptom. Because I don't even know. Any project that she's in, I'm clicking away from. I'm not going to bother. Because now I've seen the slop that she's been in, and it's not her fault. I'm not going to blame her. But she is going to represent it now. And she represents it now, in my opinion. And it's her specifically. It's her specifically. It's not because it's a woman of color. No, it's her specifically. So, how many people were playing Conquered? Good question. How many people played Conquered? Conquered peaked at 697 players on Steam, which it might be a little bit higher on PlayStation. And this was a PlayStation game. Still, Unknown 9 did worse than Conquered. Monster Hunter Wilds? Of course, Primal. Monster Hunter Wilds peaked at 1,384,608 players. Surprise Conquered? No, Conquered is not a thing. They shut down. The game shut down. What we're talking about is Marathon. The new game from Bungie. We already checked the art for it. It's horrible. And many people are thinking Conquered. This resembles Conquered. Ultrakill? Let's see Ultrakill. Ultrakill peaked at 28,000 players, which is not bad for an indie game. Which is not bad. Which I think was... How much was Dragon Age the Veilguard? Okay, Veilguard peaked at 89,000 players. Considering that Veilguard was several hundred millions of dollars, and Ultrakill, I think, is one guy, is just Hakita. Yeah. Yeah, this is This, and it's still getting the you can still see the waves going. So this game is too. But yeah, case in point, Star Wars is fucked, and we see the culture that drives it. If I see this woman in a project, I just click away. I have other things to play anyway. So now it's a team. Okay, good for them. Good for them. Anyway, yes. Back to the video. This is gonna be its own BS talks. Don't worry. Like the react is gonna have like split for this. So let's continue with Super Villains Bowl.